Hi everyone, my name is Lexa. Thank you all for joining today. I'm here presenting with Michelle, and we're going to be talking about the digital tools that are used to support your team and virtual meetings and communication platforms that are helpful for starting a community engagement team.
Great, thanks so much. And everyone, this is Michelle Spatz. Thanks so much for joining. I'm a coordinator with Improved Care Now, and I work with our wonderful parent and patient groups as well as our engagement team for the network. So we're really glad to have you join us. A few quick housekeeping items. We're going to keep everyone muted for now, but if you have any questions, please feel free to type them in the chat box, and then we can also unmute you if needed.
Okay, so the purpose of this training is to demonstrate key functions of digital tools that are used to help your team. So some of the things that we're going to be going over is scheduling and organizing meetings, maintaining ongoing communication, storing and sharing documents, tracking your projects, and creating promotional materials. So we're going to be covering all of those topics throughout this.
Great. And just a quick note that we will make these slides available. We email them out to everyone who RSVP'd for this training. So if you have any questions and want to return to the slides or to the meeting recording, you'll be able to do so. And so before we jump in, I'd like to just ask you a few quick questions. One is if anyone has had any trouble scheduling meetings or running meetings virtually, sharing documents, etc., if you're organizing virtually. So what are the challenges that you've run into if you're working with a virtual team? You can just put your answers in the chat box. And I see someone responded, document sharing is always a challenge in both Dropbox and Google Drive, and we had someone else agree that version control can be very tricky. It's funny that you should mention that. I ran into that this week. And then organizing people's busy schedules. Christina, yeah, thanks for sharing. That's always tricky as well. Awesome. And then our second question is, has anyone ever used a tool to address one of these needs that we've mentioned here, whether that's scheduling and organizing meetings, maintaining ongoing communication, tracking your projects, etc. Someone already mentioned Dropbox and Google Drive. Are there any other tools that you've used and have found to be successful and helpful in your team? Someone shared, we have Dropbox with an SOP regarding or related to naming conventions for version control. It's very helpful. Thanks for sharing, Sophia. All right, feel free to continue typing in the chat box as we go along, but let's go ahead and jump in. So we're going to start by talking about scheduling team meetings. So as someone just mentioned, if you have a bunch of people on your team, or you have very busy people on your team, it can be hard to find a time that everyone is available at once. So one tool that we use with Improved Care Now is Doodle, and this helps you line up when everyone is available at the same time. You can share a link with different people in your group. They would just fill out their availability, and then you can see when everyone is available to schedule your meeting.
Okay, and another thing that we're going to be talking about is team meeting tools. So one of the tools that we're going to be going over is Google Hangouts. And what this allows you to do is it allows for people all over the world to communicate through audio, screen sharing, and video chat. And it's free for meetings for up to 10 people. And if we go to the next slide, it shows on the side. It's very easy to use, and it shows like people can message each other, DM, and video chat. So it's like very helpful since everybody is from all different places, and it makes it easier for people to communicate. And then another one similar to Google Hangouts is Skype, and it does somewhat of the same thing, except it's free for meetings up to 25 people, and it has a somewhat different format, but it's also similar to Google Hangouts. So this is what it looks like. As you can see, people can video chat with each other and also at the same time message each other too. And like I said, it's free for meetings of up to 25 people. And then some other tools that are helpful that cost money are GoToWebinar, which is $89 a month, or it can go up to $429 monthly. It really varies. And then another one is Zoom, which is also like a video chat kind of communication tool, which is also free or can be $20 monthly. It really varies depending on like the version that you get. And they're both really helpful for communicating virtually as well. And then some team communication tools that we're going to be talking about. The first one is Slack, and I know that the PAC uses this a lot. It's very helpful within all organizations, and what it does is it's an app that's available on phones and computers, and one leader will simply like send out a link for other people to join, and they just type in their email in the URL, and there's different titles or like groups within it that you can have like for different parts of the organization. And it's really easy to register. And if you get a new message or notification, the um, it'll pop up in bold too, so like everybody like stays in communication with each other. And some cool features with this are that it allows you to share links with each other, so you can just simply copy and paste the URL into Slack, and you can also directly message other members or make it or like send out information in a group chat. And I know people in like the PAC and Improved Care Now, we send out reminders for meetings, polls, surveys, all different things. So it's pretty neat too. It's really beneficial um, for working with your team. And then here's just pictures of what it looks like. As you can see on the side, everything in bold means that there's like a new message. And then it'll also show up in bold if somebody directly messages you. And yeah, it's really helpful for communicating. And then the next thing we're going to be discussing is graphic design for promotional material. And so an example of this is Canva, and it's available on phones and computers. It's an app and a website. And I know that I use it for Improved Care Now, but I've also used it for school too, work. It's like really helpful for like anything. And what it allows you to do is you can create promotional materials on it, such as handbooks, flyers, brochures. It allows you to edit photos and create templates. So like I use this for like making social media posts for Improved Care Now. And it's really easy to use because you can save brand specifications on it, such as like font, brand colors, and it just makes it so much easier to create projects too. And you can add people to your team to work on projects together. So like more than one person can be editing the same post or like picture at the same time. And it's also free to use too, which is really good. And then this is an example of what it looks like. As you can see on the side, it shows that you just like simply click on whatever you want to edit. Like there's many options for text, backgrounds. You can upload images from your device. And yeah, and then there's like different formats too that you can choose from. And it just makes it so much easier for editing and posting pictures.
Great. So I'm going to talk a little bit now about different email servers that you can use for large groups. Obviously, you might not want to use your personal email to email to a large group. So we recommend a couple different options that allow you to make templates and email large groups at one time. One example of this is MailChimp. It's an email marketing platform. Like I mentioned, you can create different groups for your emails. You can make and save templates, so it's really nice if you're doing something like a monthly newsletter. You don't have to redo your work every time. You can create social media campaigns, and then like many email servers, recipients have the option to subscribe and unsubscribe pretty easily. The other nice thing that I like about MailChimp is that it provides you with email analytics. So you can make changes to your email communications and see how many people are receiving the emails and how many people are actually opening them, which is really helpful if you're trying to run a program to see if people are actually getting the message that you're putting out. So these are some examples that you can see. There are pre-existing templates that you can use, which is really nifty. Another example of this is Constant Contact, which is somewhat similar in that it is an email platform with templates that you can use. There are also surveys, polls, and ways to collect donations. Similar to MailChimp, you can subscribe and unsubscribe fairly easily, and you can also get email analytics so you can track your email campaigns with a group. This is just a quick peek at what constant contact emails might look like. And then finally, we wanted to share a little bit about Nation Builder. Nation Builder is the email platform that we use for Improve Care Now. It actually doubles as our email platform as well as our website platform. So this is nice because people can sign up very easily on your website to receive different communications from your network or your group. And then you can track your volunteer activities at the same time. We use this to send targeted emails to different groups within our community. For example, we send our Circle newsletter out through this. When we have new Loop blog posts, we send out emails to the community notifying them that they can check that out on our website. And then we also send out targeted messages to our parent and patient partners throughout the network as well. If you are a part of the Improve Care Now Learning Network and you're interested in trying out Nation Builder, please feel free to contact us and we can see if we can provide some training to work with you at your local care center for that. And again, like I mentioned, this is used across our network. So for our research newsletter, our parents send their newsletter out as well.
And the next thing we're going to be talking about are tools used to track projects. And one example of this is Airtable. And what it is it's a platform that allows you to organize and update your projects. And you simply just create an account and you can choose from existing templates to or create your own. And it's also free, or it can be $20 a month depending on the version that you use. And then here's an example of what it looks like. You can see the different projects and categories on the side too. And then like you can see like the people that also like fill it out. And yeah, it's also like it's really helpful and easy to use too for organizing projects. And then the next thing is document storage and sharing. And one thing for this that we use is Dropbox, and it's useful as an online storage space for documents, presentations, and other files. And what it is it's a platform that allows groups to work together and edit the same document at the same time. And you can edit it from a computer too, but you'll need internet access. And you simply just like create an account, you can upload files that you want and then share them. And then also it's free for a certain amount of storage too. It's really helpful too. And then here's an example of what it looks like. As you can see, there's photo options and sharing, and you can have links too to share with people. And then Google Drive. This is also another good platform for sharing work with groups too. People can edit the same document or presentation together and work on stuff together too. You just log into your Google account, open up Drive on the side, and there will be a button at the top right corner to share the document or presentation or whatever it is that you're working on with other people. And once again, it's free for up to 15 gigabytes, and then you can upgrade for more storage. And some other features are you can make surveys, spreadsheets, like I said, presentations and documents as a group, and it makes it so much easier and allows groups to collaborate together and work simultaneously. And another really good feature about this is that everything that you do saves automatically, which is really helpful because like so many times like on like Word or something, it's so easy to forget to save, and then you'll have to redo all your work. So this is so much easier because everything saves on its own. And yeah, you can edit from a computer too, or on any like device, just by signing into Google. And here's an example of what it looks like. As you can see, if you go to the side, it shows what um, presentations and documents were shared with you, and then you can simply just click new to create a new document or slide, and then at the top there will be an option to share with others. So it's very easy to use and helpful. Oops. And then some recommendations from the community is Calendly, which allows you to set meetings and send them to people, and send them to people for you to use. And then another one is Remind, that also allows you to send out reminders to large groups of people. And for that, you simply just put in your phone number and people will receive a text alert too, which is so much easier because people are always like checking their phone and text. So it makes sure that like everybody gets the notification.
Great. Well, we have now moved through the informational section of this for the most part. I want to pause really quickly and take a quick poll. Do you use any of the following tools already? So you should now be able to see the poll on your screen. Great. It looks like 78% of you use meeting scheduling tools. And the most popular tool are document storage tools, and then email servers and group management. And then the next poll that I'm going to put out, we have some extra time today. So we want to know what tool you would like to learn about and do a deep dive in. So our options for today are Doodle, Canva, or Slack. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute our attendees, and you can either type in the chat box or you can tell us which one you'd be interested in us pulling up to show you. All right, Alice Kennedy says she'd like to learn about Slack. If there are no other votes, we're just going to go ahead and share that. And I'm unmuting people so that this is a little bit more interactive.
Hey, this is Jennifer and Patrice from CHKD. We would like to look at Canva.
Canva, all right. And I see someone else says Doodle. All right, so we've got a split. Let's start. I think we actually might have time to just look at each one a little bit. So we'll do that. I'm going to pause my screen for a second while I pull that up. So if you'll bear with me. Since everyone's unmuted, I also saw that there was a question in the chat box earlier from someone asking about a tool, Asana, I think it was called. Alice, are you unmuted, and can you tell us a little bit about what that is? Oh, it looks like she doesn't have her pen. All right. Well, while she's doing that, does anyone else have a tool that we did not present about that you use on a regular basis? Canva, all right. All right. So thanks for your patience. I'm pulling up here Doodle. I thought we could start with that one. It's pretty simple. This is what it looks like when you log into Doodle. And feel free to jump in, Lexa, if I miss anything. This is what it looks like when you log into Doodle. We typically use, and yes, there's just a question in the chat box, is Calendly like Doodle? Calendly is very similar. I've actually never used Calendly, but actually got a parent partner recommended it recently. So I'm gonna have to test that one out as well. But they're both get at the same idea. So one way to do a doodle is if you have a large group, for example, we often have meetings with large groups of physicians or other stakeholders in the community. So we need to find a time that everyone's mutually available. So if you do click poll and then you just type in the name of your meeting here, click continue. You can put in the location if you want, but you don't have to. Usually we meet virtually, so it's usually GoToWebinar. And you would just share the days that you want to schedule a meeting, and you add times. You can either have the same time for every day. So if you know 5 to 6 p.m. is a good option, you can just do that for all the days. If you need different times for each day, you would just click different times for each day. So I'm just going to really quickly do an example. You would just set how long you want your meetings to be. And you can do multiple meetings on the same day by adding more time. Once you've chosen your dates and times, you're just going to hit continue. You can choose some of these extra options, depends on what kind of account you have. There, obviously, if you pay, you have a few more options, but we typically have the basic poll. But you can do yes, no, or if need be. And then you would just click finish. You can either send out an email directly through Doodle, or you can just copy and paste the link into your email and send it out. So if someone pastes it in their browser, oh, my internet's going to be slow. It would look like this basically, and they would just type in their name and check off which days they're available. And then if multiple people do it, obviously you can compare when everyone is available. I'm going to pause for a second. Does anyone have any questions about Doodle? No? Does anyone have any experience with Calendly that they can share about?
This is Alice. Can you hear me now?
I can. How are you doing, Alice? Thanks for
Hi. Yay, finally.
Alice, what is your role in the ICN network, or how did you hear about our training?
So I work for the Dartmouth Institute in Hanover, New Hampshire, and we're involved with the IBB community.
Oh, great.
And we are basically, I'm also just looking as we grow our team for lessons learned from other people, so I can just kind of see what's worked and what hasn't, so I can hopefully have a little bit of a head start. I'm really excited to hear that there are things that I hadn't heard of, which makes me really excited about this call.
Oh, great. Well, thanks so much for joining us. I'm really glad you could be here. It looks like you have some experience with Calendly. Have you used that before?
I don't. That was what I was asking. So I always use the Google Doodle polls, but I've never heard of Calendly.
Okay, yeah. I can send you the link in the slides. So I think there are some instructional videos there. And like I said, I actually got the recommendation from a parent partner who has found it to be really useful. She leads a parent team out in California, Carrie Ward, and she put it out actually in the parent Facebook group that this was a really helpful tool for her to use. So if you do use it and it works, let us know. Maybe we can include it in the next training.
Cool. Yeah, I would love to. And then I know that someone else wanted to hear about Canva, so I want to give them time, but I would love to hear about Slack if we have the opportunity.
Yes, definitely. So right now I have Canva pulled up, so we'll jump to that, but then I would be happy to take a look at Slack. And actually, Lexa is probably much better to talk about Slack. I do use it, but she uses it with the Patient Advisory Council a lot. So this is what Canva looks like. Probably not everybody has goat party invitations in their Canva, but I do. And basically, as Lexa said, this gives you some good graphics to start from. You can share graphics with other people on a team, and you can edit them together, which is really great for collaborative work. So for example, our communications team does that a lot. And again, it saves you time if you just make one template for a graphic. You can plug in different quotes and pictures and reuse them again and again. Lexa, you use Canva a lot for the PAC communications team. Do you want to share a little bit about how you use it and what your favorite part of it is?
Yeah, so my favorite part is probably just how it allows you to save fonts, backgrounds, and different templates, and also how you can share it with other people. And yeah, like I said, I use it a lot for the social media posts and loop posts. We use it to edit and format the templates on that. And what was I gonna say? And yeah, it's really easy to use. There's tons of options that are free for you to use for creating templates. It's fun to play around with and like choose fonts and backgrounds. And also you can upload photos too, which makes it easier.
Yeah, I really love that Canva has spread throughout our network. So the PAC uses it, our communications team uses it, and now actually I can share with you really quickly that our parents started using it for their newsletter as well. So this is what the Parent Working Group newsletter looks like. And again, it's so nice because they have two parents that are working on this newsletter, and one lives in Florida and the other, I believe, lives in Omaha. And so they can just share this template with each other and both add to the newsletter and make adjustments as needed. And then they can download this in a PDF and then send it out to their group. Are there any questions from the group about Canva or how to use Canva?
I have a question. This is Sophia Thurman from CF Learning Network. So you said that we can put your finished product here on Canva, you convert it to PDF, and then you send it. What do you use to send it? Is it something that you send directly from Canva, or do you use Nation Builder to do that?
Yeah, we use Nation Builder to send out all our email communications. So we just include it as an attachment or link to it in a Nation Builder email. But I do know that for some of our graphics, we just download them as JPEG or PNG files and use them on social media and things like that. But it is nice that it downloads to a PDF because then it's pretty accessible no matter how you send it.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure. Anyone else? Any questions? That's a good question. Lexa, Melissa asked in the chat box, is Canva easier on desktop, laptop, or a mobile device? Do you have any experience with that?
Honestly, I don't think it makes that much of a difference. I guess it's really whichever you prefer. I mean, I've personally used it on both, and they both were pretty easy to use. So, yeah, it's really whatever you prefer.
Yeah, thanks for the question. All right, any other questions about Canva before we move on? All right. So I'm going to pause my screen again and pull up Slack. Thanks for your patience. So I'm going to actually share this. This is our ICN communications team Slack. And so this is really nice. We have staff members who work across the country. We're in Vermont and Wisconsin. We're all over the place. So we use as a team Slack to just shoot quick messages to each other throughout the day, share news with each other, sometimes share links or information, things like that. As you can see, we have a large staff group, right? There's about 20 of us, but then we can break down into specific groups. So we have, you can see on the left-hand side of my screen, there's a communications group, a general group, an onboarding group, and then a random group. And so that's really nice, like Lexa talked about earlier, because you might not need to send a message to the entire group, but you might want to send a message or share something with a particular working group that you're on. And so I think that's what, and then as Lexa mentioned as well earlier, you can direct message people. So again, it's kind of like a Skype for business app where you, if you just have a really quick question, you can just shoot a quick message out. Lexa, do you want to talk a little bit about how this has been helpful for the pack?
Yeah, it's been really helpful because when someone is working on a project and they are sending out like a poll or a survey, they can simply just put it into, they can copy the link into one of the channels or all of them, depending on what it's on. And people can just fill it out through Slack, and then they'll be notified and they can see what the results are. And also people use it as reminders or just to talk about like basically like anything on here. It's a really good way to like keep in touch and communicate with everyone. But yeah, people use it for setting reminders for meetings too, and talking with each other too. And we use it, we have like different groups too, like in the channels for different topics. Like we have a general one, we have one for task force, we have one for like the leads, all the pack. There's a bunch of them. So like, yeah, like I said, it's easy to use and really beneficial.
Great. Does anyone have any questions about Slack? Probably best for Lexa again. She's kind of the pro at that. We got a general question. Will this presentation be sent out in an email? Yes, we will follow up with both the slides and which the slides have a bunch of links, as you can see, which do detailed videos for each tool that you can use. And then we also include the video, this presentation video in an email. Any other questions? You can either chat in the chat box or just speak up. All right. So we are at the end of our content for tonight. So if there are no other questions, we can go ahead and close out. Before we go, I wanted to get some feedback on this training from you all. So you should see a question on your screen now. All right, great. I'm glad that we met our objectives tonight. And then I'm going to ask you if you learned anything that you can use either at your care center or with your team. And if you have any specific ideas that you want to share that you thought of throughout this training, feel free to type it in the chat box. We'd love to know as well. Great. All right. So special thanks to Lexa for sharing her evening with us. I get to work with Lexa in the Patient Advisory Council, which is a really wonderful group of teens and young adults with IBD. You can find out more information on our website about the group. There is a more detailed survey for feedback that you can find at this link here when I send out the slides, or it's also going to be in the body of the email. We'd really love to hear your suggestions on how we can improve this training, in particular what other trainings might be helpful for you as you build your teams at care centers and across the country. And she couldn't be on tonight, but I also wanted to thank Rosa and Maria for helping us make this training, as well as Jill, who helped us review and fine-tune it for tonight. So thanks to all of these wonderful parent and patient partners who make our network function. We're really grateful for all that you do. Lexa, do you have any final thoughts for tonight?
I think that's everything. I just want to say thank you everyone for joining and being on this meeting, and thank you also for all the feedback as well.